Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Fan Experience. We are on episode 17, week 9 here of the Fan Experience. And we just wrapped up week 1 of the National Football League season. I'm your host, Mike Katos. Alongside me is my co-host, Rick Molina. Rick, how are we feeling after a weekend of football?
Well, Mike, it's good to chat with you again. It's good to talk to you. Hello, good evening, everybody, and welcome to all our viewers. I feel great that there's football that was played. There were no issues with COVID, but I am not so great about our beloved New York Jets, and we'll get into it as the show goes along. But yeah, it was great to see some football, some great games out there. Obviously, the cream of the crop, the Kansas City Chiefs winning Thursday night. Baltimore Ravens destroying the Browns. I mean, Lamar Jackson's just a beast. And then you had some interesting performances. Joe Burrow surprised me. I mean, he played well. He looks a lot better than Sam Darnold, that's for sure. But all around, it was just a great weekend for football. It was a great first Sunday. It was a nice crisp day, and it was just it was good to have some normalcy back in our lives.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, let's. I guess we could start it off real quick, and we covered it live last Thursday, but the Chiefs, really just handled the Texans Thursday night, and it doesn't look like the Chiefs really lost the beat. They even gained a little something with their rookie running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who was amazing last Thursday night. And the Chiefs definitely look poised to win that division and to possibly win the AFC as well. So they're on a roll. The Texans, they're definitely missing DeAndre Hopkins. There's no doubt about it.
I agree.
But I feel like they do have some weapons that they're going to put together those wins. Obviously they went up against a very tough team for their first matchup. In Arrowhead, granted, it was only a quarter full, but still,
but some people were there.
You can't go into Arrowhead and beat the Super Bowl champion. It's not an easy task, and reigning MVP. So it's they at least came to play, but the Chiefs just outplayed them big time. You want to hit up the next game?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the next game, and then we'll get to Sunday. I guess since we're locals here, we'll get to let's get to the Jets, because I want to kind of get this off my chest real quick. I don't know what happened during the week. I don't know what happened leading up to the game, but they showed up and it looked like they just didn't even want to be. It showed up. It was like the kid who went to school, didn't have his homework ready, got surprised with a pop quiz, a week later had a test and didn't even study for it. I mean, that's what it looked like. It was that bad. They were uncompetitive. They were flat. Sam Darnold looked completely, I don't know what the word terrified is. I don't know if it just looked like shell-shocked deer in headlights. But three and outs in the first 3 series of the game. I mean, he looked completely awful. Like, Mike, he's gotten worse.
He couldn't hit wide open receivers.
Right. He's gotten worse. I mean, the first season, okay, he's a rookie. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to throw his picks. Last year, he had mono. Okay, he came back. He's coming back. They go what, 6-2 the rest of the way? Fine. But yesterday, he looked awful, like he's regressed, like something has gone wrong with him. And we've said this a million times on this show. We've talked about this. Adam Gase is not the coach of this team. He should have been fired last year when they had that debacle in Miami. He should not have been brought back. And for those people who are saying, well, it's game 1 and it's the first game, and they're still finding their way. They didn't have a preseason. No, that game should have told you all you need to know about the Jets. They're completely unprepared. They are not ready to play ball. That team is lifeless. And let's face it, Joe Douglas did them a disservice because there's no talent on that team. There's not Brashad Perriman. Jesus, I mean, Robbie Anderson is scoring touchdowns and running all over the field in Carolina. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, they got this kid, no talent. Now he's out there. He's scared. He doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, it was embarrassing. That defense, got a couple of turnovers, but Josh Allen was just running all over the field. I mean, he looked like Michael Vick out there. He was just killing them left and right. And then finally, right, we get a field goal. And then obviously we don't know how to manage the clock at the end of the game, right? Because we have to spike the ball because we ran out of timeouts because we can't do that, right? So then we finally get a field goal. We get some momentum. Crowder gets that 69-yard touchdown. Then what happens? Adam Gase calls what seems like he calls on every play. a goddamn bubble screen. Excuse my language. Sorry about that. But he calls another wide receiver bubble screen on every play, and he fumbles the ball. I mean, that ended the game right there. I mean, that game was not 27-17. That game was more like 50-0. I mean, that's how bad it was. And you got go ahead. I mean, it was just now you got the Niners coming in next week after a loss to the Cardinals. I mean, what do you think is going to happen then? It's the home opener. Yeah, nobody's there. Thank God nobody's there to watch that because it's just going to be just a beating that's going to happen. And and I'm going to say it now. We haven't even started week 2. I'm going to say it now. Sam Darnold, you're a nice kid, great family. You know what? You seem like you're head and shoulders. You're not up to the job. Trevor Lawrence, Clemson. We're probably going to have one of the first 3 picks the way we're playing. Oh, without luck, we won't get one of the picks. Draft Trevor Lawrence, and away we go because it's over. Sam Darnold, it's over. It's done. That's it, and that's my 2 cents on it because this was just as bad as it gets. You cannot get any worse. And Adam Gase if they don't win next week, he should be fired. Every week that they lose, he should be fired. But they're not going to do it. But we'll wait and see. But just get Trevor Lawrence, and let's just move on to the show. Yes, tank for Trevor if that's what it is. Yeah, we've been tanking for 50 years. I mean, what else is new?
Yeah, let's just lose purposely at this point. Not.
I mean, what else can you do? I mean,
Darnold could not hit open receivers.
No,
when he did, like
they were dropping the ball.
Rashard Perriman right in his chest, couldn't catch it. If it wasn't for a 5-yard catch and run for 69 yards from Jamison Crowder and the defense just, getting a little lackadaisical towards the end of the Buffalo Bills, letting them just score, and run in a touchdown, they could have easily lost that game 34-3 because, the Buffalo Bills didn't play amazing football either.
No, they were
Josh Allen was still missing a lot of passes as well. The Jets should have gotten beat even more than they actually did. But, Gase has to go.
100%.
And the only way we're going to see what Sam Darnold really is to see him under somebody else. But, I understand. I hear you. I
have to disagree with you on that. He's been under Todd Bowles. He's been under Gase. I think we know what Sam Darnold is, bro. He can make some great throws. He's got some flashes. But the guy, he gets...
Yeah, but they can't even utilize their best running back in the way it's supposed to be utilized.
Yeah, but
so if you're already putting one hand behind his back if you're not even calling the right plays.
Right.
If they can't call the right plays for Bell, what's to say he's calling the right plays for Sam Darnold?
I think Bell's a shot fighter in a sense. I think his best days are behind him. I think he's got a lot of wear and tear on those tires, right? So I think he's a shot fighter. But be that as it may, we've seen Sam Darnold. How are you going to run you're running across the field, 30 or left in the middle of the field for an interception? Like, how does that happen? Like, this is year 3. You're not a rookie. Like, you shouldn't be making those kind of mistakes. You're running down, you're running towards the sideline. You shouldn't be taking a sack, throw the ball away, and he takes a 5-yard sack. Like, these are things that he should be already knowing. Like, this is stuff that shouldn't be happening. And look, Sam, like I said, nice kid. We've seen it, though, but we've seen this before. He's going to have flashes, but at the end of the day, I think it's time for the Jets to just move on, draft Trevor Lawrence if we can get him, and away we go. Get this kid a receiver because this can't go on. It cannot continue. Look, the best quarterback in New York is Daniel Jones, and we'll get to the Giants right now because I saw that game. Saquon Barkley, he was running outside. What did he rush for? 16 yards or something like that?
No, Saquon Barkley ran for 6 yards. Ben Roethlisberger ran for 9.
Right, he ran for 6 yards. I mean, Daniel Jones made a couple of throws, but that team is they're awful. They're pretty bad. That interception in the end zone at the end of the
that was a beautiful drive.
Yeah, 19 plays and he throws a pick.
Just a duck, like a complete duck.
Yeah, man.
That was heartbreaking, but you can't have it. They stayed competitive for an entire half.
Right.
And Ben Roethlisberger found his stride.
Right.
And that was it. But I feel like they played the best game for New York. I mean, as far as the first half went, and then the Bills ended up with a win. So the Bills are the best team in New York at this point.
But you got to say this.
The Giants have more hope than the Jets do.
Yeah, because they got some talent. They got Saquon. Daniel Jones looks like a pro. Like, the guy looks like a pro. He stands in the pocket, makes some throws. I mean, the guy looks like a pro. And after this weekend, can you say that Sam Darnold's better than Joe Burrow? No. I mean, Joe Burrow was leaving him in the fourth quarter like he's been in the league for a few years now. Is he better than Joe Burrow? No. He's just as bad as Baker Mayfield. And Baker Mayfield was awful. I mean,
awful.
So, look, I've let out my frustration. There's nothing more to say. It was, other than the Jets debacle, it was a great day in the league. I mean, Kyler Murray's better than Sam Darnold at this point. Kyler was running all over the place.
Kyler Murray. Yes, I would have said that last year.
Yeah, I mean, he was running. And the Cardinals are going to be a surprising team because they're pretty good. Dwayne Haskins looked good this weekend as well. So it's, Mitchell Trubisky led their team, to a win against the Lions. But
let's not go too far with Mitchell Trubisky.
Right? No, he's still Mitchell Trubisky. I mean, the guy is just, But at the end of the day, look, getting back, Sam Darnold's the worst quarterback in the league right now, and if he can't figure it out in the next 2 weeks, man, I wouldn't be surprised if they start Flacco and roll the season with that, and then make the move to Lawrence. So we'll wait to see how it plays out. But it was, other than that, it was a great start to the week. I'm pumped. I'm excited. Can't wait till next Sunday, and away we go.
Yeah, we'll touch on a couple more games later, and also do our Fantasy 5, get you caught up with some waiver wire moves you should make tonight. And please send in some questions if you have any questions fantasy related, and we'll answer them after our interview. Right now, is Pete ready? Thumbs up if you're ready. All right. Okay, we're going to be bringing on Pete Klein. He is the creator of Action Tennis.
Hey guys,
Pete, how you doing?
Pete, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me here, Mike and Rick.
Oh, no, thank you. Thanks for coming on.
Yes, thank you for coming on. It's a pleasure to have you on. We're definitely looking forward to talking a lot about Action Tennis, talking about all your sports experiences and where you've played and all that. So let's start from the beginning. So you grew up a fan of the Oakland Raiders in the 70s era. So tell us about that.
Yes, I did. Even in the far-off place as Youngstown, Ohio, I somehow managed to pull that off.
That's
sort of right between Pittsburgh Steeler land and Cleveland Brown land. So I didn't care for either of those teams, and I just sent myself all the way out west.
Awesome. And I know, we spoke on the phone a couple of weeks ago, and you're not too big on current day football because you're big into the action, and obviously they put together a lot of different penalties over the years, and your heart's really with those those 70s eras, 80s era teams. But talk to us about that, like the action that they brought then as opposed to now.
Well, I mean, action. You certainly wouldn't say that there's no action in the NFL. Currently. But what I think is missing, despite the fact that these guys are like the most incredible athletes in the world ever, right? The things that they can do, which sort of will lead us into a discussion about Action Tennis and the things I want to do with 1E9. But to take the impact out of the game is, to me, it makes it harder to watch. And then I see the influx and just the way penalties are generated now and things like that. It becomes a little less fun to watch than it was from back in the days when Ronnie Lott was patrolling the backfield.
Yeah. Or like guys like Steve Atwater back there, but
absolutely. Atwater. Yeah.
Yeah. The great school. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch of hard-hitting safeties and linebackers, and that was that's what drew me to into football, and what made me love it as I was growing up.
So Pete, again, thanks for coming on. So you grew up in Youngstown, Ohio. I mean, did you? Youngstown is known for Ray Mancini grew up there, Kelly Pavlik, a lot of sports athletes. Did you? I mean, tell us about that. I mean, how did you go from Youngstown, Ohio, and then you end up going to Boston College? You end up being a Raiders fan. I mean, how did that sort of play out for you? I mean,
well, it's funny. Growing up in Youngstown, like you said, it's not unheard of to have whether it's a famous athlete or something like that, whether it's an NFL player or a boxer or whatever. So the idea that I could maybe possibly play in the NFL was sort of like a realistic goal. I mean, I was a tall guy. I was a good football player. I ended up, getting a scholarship to Boston College and playing football there. And so that's what kind of got me out of the Youngstown area. I wanted to play in the biggest, best football that I could, and Boston's College is where I ended up. And it just sort of moved along from there. But yeah, as far as being a Raiders fan, I don't know where that came from. I was a fan of Kiss as a young kid, so it's just I was drawn to certain characters, and maybe you can even see how that kind of crosses over into becoming a stuntman. But I mean, that's what that 70s, 80s era Raiders teams were just fun.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. I mean, John Madden was the coach of some of those teams. Lyle Alzado was on those teams. Right. Howie Long, I think, was on a couple of those teams. Who was your favorite player on those famous Raiders teams?
I mean, I go back to just positionally. I was a tight end.
Right.
They had a guy, Dave Casper, in the 80s probably.
Yeah.
Or Todd Christensen.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah. Those guys, but it was hard not to like that. Just the whole collection of them. I mean, you mentioned John Madden and Lyle Alzado, but John Matusak, Ted Hendricks, Lester Hayes with the stickum and all over his helmet and hands and everything. I mean, even Al Davis, the owner. Like, it was just such a cast of characters. To me, they were fun to kind of see the antics and the way they played, and certainly the Raiders fans. They're legendary. So.
How do you feel about the new stadium? Obviously, nobody can go to it right now, but what's your thoughts on the new stadium? Big black stadium right in the middle of a desert.
It must be incredible to see in person. I maybe someday I'll get out there.
Yeah,
I mean, it's fantastic. I think it's pretty cool that they, if there was a franchise that was to move out to Las Vegas, I think that's a pretty darn good fit.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the move, and I definitely want to go and see that stadium for sure.
Yeah.
So talk to us. You played tight end. You got a scholarship to Boston College. You played in the early 90s, correct?
Yes.
So,
I played for during the Tom Coughlin era. Behind NFL guys like Mark Chmura and Pete Mitchell. But we were in that very cool, a lot of motion, 3 tight end offense. So I got to play quite a bit.
And some good NFL quarterbacks over there too.
That's for sure.
Glenn Foley and
he was my quarterback while I was there.
Hasselbeck, or was that right after you left?
Hasselbeck was after I left, and then obviously Matt Ryan sometime after that. So.
Yeah, that was a little bit more down the line with Matt Ryan.
You're right.
Yeah.
So Pete, I want to get into this because you were on the team that beat Notre Dame in South Bend in '93. I remember watching that game in high school. So tell us about that. I mean, you guys go in. They just beat Florida State the week prior, right? They were undefeated.
Right.
Lou Holtz is the coach. So you guys come in. Here's a young Tom Coughlin. Like, tell us what the week was like preparing for that game. I mean, did you guys sense that they were vulnerable, that you could take that game?
First let's go back to the year before. We went down to South Bend and they crushed us like 54-7 or something.
Yeah,
just very, very bad beating. So then leading up to that game, that week leading up to the game, I can tell you that just during our practices, I think there really was a feeling. I mean, I certainly had it, and that's the kind of thing where I didn't even want to talk about it. I could feel it, and I don't think I was alone. I think the other guys on the team, and Tom Coughlin was a hell of a coach, and he knows how to prepare a team for sure.
That's incredible. I mean, like I said, I was in high school watching that game and Foley leads him down the field, and then you guys when he's about to kick that field goal, what's like that feeling on the side for a fan who's never experienced like a moment like that? Being on a sideline, about to kick a game-winning field goal. I mean, kind of what's going on? I mean, is it at least for the players? Is it calm for them? I mean, just take us through that whole experience.
No, I would say, I mean, I was on the sidelines, but it wasn't on the extra point field goal team.
Yeah,
but we were definitely on edge. I mean, I remember, even if it seems like it's cliche or not, but on our knees, holding hands, arms locked. All that stuff, just hoping and praying, and off it went. Dave Gordon right through the uprights.
Yeah, it was a 41-yard field goal. I remember watching that. I was like, wow, that was incredible, man. That was a great one.
It was amazing. And then like you didn't even think about storming the field after. It just happened, and the whole wave of us just left the sidelines. Fans coming out onto the field from the stands. It was chaotic and wonderful.
That's awesome. It must be such a amazing feeling, to win a game like that. It's do you keep in touch with any of your college teammates still?
Yeah, I had kind of fallen off a bit over the years, just pursuing different things. But I have to give a shout out to LinkedIn. I mean, what a fantastic way to reconnect with everybody. It's been great.
Yeah,
and we've got a coach that originally brought me to Boston College, Barry Gallup, has done a really remarkable job of kind of rounding up all of the former players throughout the decades. Really, I mean, he's just he's been able to kind of get them all clustered together in the team ranges where we all kind of played together, and he's helped tremendously in terms of bringing guys to back to the Boston College football community.
Yeah, and so your ex-coach, Tom Coughlin, obviously he's had some success in the NFL since then too. He had
he sure has.
It's
been fun to watch
with the Giants, and now he's what is he? Is he part? Is he the GM of the Jaguars now, or
I think he's president, right? Yep.
President. Yeah, but yesterday, big game for his team. Minshew Mania taking on the Colts and beating them. That was one of the upsets of the week for sure. But Tom Coughlin's definitely got his hands in there, and he's definitely pulling some strings over there.
He's been following good teams wherever he's gone. So.
Yeah, that's incredible. Pete, I want to get into your career a little bit. So you you graduate from Boston College. How do you go? How do you go from Boston College and playing football to becoming a stuntman? I mean, you've had an incredible career. So how did it all come about? Okay,
so just kind of going back to my childhood, it was like, playing in the NFL really wasn't that unrealistic,
Right.
However, my other childhood dream was to become a stuntman, which seems way more realistic when you're in Youngstown, Ohio.
Yeah.
But go to Boston College, graduate there, had a wonderful experience and all of that, but moved to New York City, like immediately after pretty much. And worked, a bunch of different jobs, got myself into sports television, and production and live broadcasts and things like that. Sometimes you want more. You can kind of see, I was working in that whole production realm, so it wasn't always sports. Sometimes it was, TV shows, things like that. And I just always kept myself very fit, very active, started riding motorcycles and doing fun things. And I was aware of, I actually tried several times, a couple times to get into the stuntman business in New York. And, it's tough. It's a tough business to get into. It really, and deservedly so. I mean, you should make sure that it's something you want to do. I mean, there's a lot of people that do it now, just because of the influx of television production that's been going on.
Yeah.
But, it was something that I wanted to do. I reached a certain point in the sports business where that was, it was just, it wasn't satisfying. It wasn't fulfilling. I knew I could do some other things. And that was, I just kept going back to that idea where I know I use the same approach, and I hear people talk about it, while they're doing their motivational speeches and career coaching and things like that. It's like, I use the same approach to becoming a college football player as I did to become a stuntman. Somebody's out there doing it. Why couldn't that be me? Right.
Right.
And so I just always kind of kept that in the back of my head, and you kept trying. Ended up meeting somebody on the Metro North platform in Mount Vernon, who tangentially worked with stunt people, driving the camera cars, process trailer things that make it look like actors are driving when they're not driving. Somebody else is just towing them along. And So I ended up working with that guy, Stephen Mann, Action Camera Cars, back then. And through him and that connection and that work, actually got to start working with stunt guys. And, we formed a nice little team, and I got experience, doing things that I hadn't done before. And even like the rigging aspects of stunt work, where we're, making people fly around the room and, fall down from buildings safely, things like that.
Right.
So yeah, I learned that. I learned all kinds of water safety and rope rescue. I even, I kind of diverted my attention away from traditional sports and started doing a lot of more intense fight training and things like that. So just sort of adding those skills into what was already pretty, like I said, athletic guy. I stayed in shape and active and fit, and that's I kind of put it all together, I think.
Yeah, married all the there.
And you've done a lot of shows. I mean, you just did Monsterland and the Romanoffs, Asher, Dark Knight Rises. I mean, tell us some about I mean, stunt work has got to be tremendously taxing on the body and just physically. So tell us some of the most, because you seem like you're like an action guy. Some of the more action, the more riveting stunts you've done. Share some of those, just crazy stunts that when people see them, they're like, "Wow, that's." I mean, how does somebody do that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff I wouldn't really. I mean, yes, I've been lit on fire. I've been hit by cars. But I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Yes, no big deal. Yeah.
Knowing how those are done, I wouldn't consider those to be crazy stunts relative to other things that I've seen. Most of my work, and again, where the fight trainings kind of come in, it has been, of the fights and falls and shootouts and things like that, some driving, but, I wouldn't call driving a specialty of mine, but I think I'm better than the average bear out there on the road. That's, those types of things, I think where I really started to understand it and make a better, more of a breakthrough was, getting involved on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles remake from 2013, 14, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And working with the fight team over at 8711 that did all the stunts and fight choreography and things like that. And I got to work with those guys, which they're regarded as one of the top, if not the top, action design fight team, in the entire industry.
Was that one the Michael Bay one?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I would imagine that there's a lot of crazy stunts in that one.
Yeah, but again, I was working primarily with the fight team, and I was doubling some of the turtles and doing some of the Foot Clan guys, just doing a ton of work over the course of like 3 or 4 months, and working with these guys day after day after day. You really just kind of see how things come together, how it all fits in a frame, and the lenses work and all the camera work, and you can layer action, throughout the thing. And a lot of that stuff's kind of influenced what I've done with the action tennis series and what I hope to do with other sports. Sport entertainment properties. But yeah, I mean, I got to work with those guys shortly after that on John Wick, which again, just another amazing opportunity to follow up what I had already done. Just I don't know if it was 6 months or whatever the time difference was from working with those guys on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
It was some of the actors and actresses that you've met that like I guess somebody like Keanu Reeves you probably grew up watching because with Bill and Ted around when you were still like a teenager over there, but any notable ones that you were like excited to meet?
I think a lot. I mean, geez, you work with Uma Thurman, Janet Jackson. I work with Jimmy Fallon pretty regularly now as the stunt coordinator for the Tonight Show. And then any of the guests that they have that are, who did something with Will Smith prior to the pandemic and the lockdown and everything. I think, I've I think the most fun I've had was working with Dave Bautista on Bushwick. You know, that guy is fantastic, works really hard, and I got to do a quick little fight scene with him that was pretty awesome. And I'm not a big guy by professional athlete standards, I wouldn't say, but in the stunt world, in the movie and TV business, I'm pretty big. 200 something pounds, and Dave Bautista grabbed me and threw me around like I was literally ragdolled me. He pushed me up against this kitchen, this set of cabinets, dragged me across the kitchen counter, slammed me against the refrigerator, picked me up, slammed me back down to the ground like I was nothing.
You're a ragdoll.
You're like a ragdoll, yeah.
One take, and luckily we hit all our marks and we got it done because I didn't want to take that slam again.
Yeah, I bet. So it's like, okay, so you've been on fire, you've been in shootouts, you've gotten hit by cars, you got thrown around like a ragdoll by Dave Bautista. I want to talk about probably the most dangerous stunt of all, you being a stuntman on Sex and the City 2. What did you do on that?
That was pretty light work, I have to admit. I think we, and some days are harder than others, really. Some days you just, if there's there's a car chase going on, right? And let's say it's a cop car chasing the bad guys. Well, all your stunt people, are also in cars around those two cars, right? So, everything is coordinated and choreographed as much as possible. And, all that has to be mapped out and figured out. So you need to know that the people surrounding all of that, in and out, weaving through traffic, all those people are trained drivers and stunt performers. So some days are harder than others. Sex and the City 2 was not a difficult day.
Okay. So I want to get into this action tennis series because I find this fascinating. This is not like just your regular tennis, right? This is like sort of, people on a tennis court, but there are like obstacles involved. I mean, it kind of sounds like some stunt work and so tell our viewers about this action tennis series because I'm kind of jacked about this.
So, I mean, I call it a hybrid sport, and it's meant to be that, on multiple levels. The sport itself, the game, what's going on the court, hybrid. Yes, it's based on traditional tennis. We've got these what I call dynamic obstacles moving around on the court. We've got disruptors that are, if you could kind of imagine American Gladiators.
Yes. Okay. I remember that show. Yeah.
So these gals kind of fit that character type, where they're there with the sole purpose of disrupting the tennis players by deploying these obstacles. Whether it's a swinging wrecking ball or barrels or the monster truck tires. It's tennis. I've changed the scoring a little bit so that it's a faster moving game, and I've kind of enclosed the court with still a traditional tennis court dimensions, but I've closed it in with cages running along the sidelines. And if you could think about American Ninja Warriors warped walls, those are behind each baseline. So, and those are all playable surfaces. So you can, rather than, lobbing something or hitting it between your legs or, trying some impossible shot, you can also kind of play ricochet shots and things like that. A little difficult to get away with for, your regular play, but if you're chasing a ball down or something like that, it's an option that you've got, and you can certainly move off of that warped wall, off of the cage walls, off of the obstacles themselves. It's kind of a bit of an anything goes. I mean, wanted to make a more intense, more aggressive version of tennis. I like tennis, but when you've just got athletes moving around from sideline to sideline, moving from side to side on the baseline, it's not as exciting as it could be. Mm-hmm. So, I kind of came up with this idea of, taking a fine game and just making it more athletic, more intense, more aggressive, making athletes, move like athletes.
Now, Pete, like some tennis matches go like 5 hours. Like I remember watching Federer and Nadal at Wimbledon. That went like 5 hours. Like, is it gonna be like the same thing for the Action Tennis Series? I mean, are they gonna go on for that long?
Not at all. We're doing straight scoring, so no overtime, no win by 2, nothing like that. It would be currently the games go to it's best of 3 games. Games go to 15. I'm using rally scoring, which if you can kind of imagine volleyball's scoring system, where if it lands on your side, your other guy, your opponent gets a point. And we just work that way. Serve alternates, based on who's scored the previous point. Again, like volleyball, beach volleyball, or even standard Olympic volleyball. So the games really time out to be about 20 minutes apiece.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it's high intensity.
Yeah, and it really, I've designed it to move fast. I've kind of looked at a lot of the macros that, the issues that the sports industry is sort of wrestling with. And I've looked at ways that I can address those with this product, and that's what it is. It's a production more so than a sports league or something like that. And that's where that hybrid word comes back into play, in that it's a sport, but it truly is meant as to be entertainment based. Right.
Yeah. When I watch like the video of, the promo and everything, it just, when you see the person just, running up that warped wall, it brought me back like 10, 15 years ago, because I would always go and play racquetball. And, I would always go up on the wall. And,
I love to hear that, Mike.
Like I'd scale walls just to get to the ball. Granted, I wasn't jumping over tires or, crawling under swinging pendulums. I didn't have my fair share of, but now I'm getting a little older, so I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can hang with the action tennis right now, but
it happens.
Yeah. So what is what is like the plan moving forward? Like, are you gonna have them pre-recorded and then have them somewhere on online? Are you trying to get them into specific venues? What's next for action tennis?
Well, I mean, certainly the pandemic's changed the direction that you would that I was hoping to go in. It's definitely been a bit of a setback, but only slightly. I think it's also kind of taken the pressure off of what it takes to produce an event. I don't have to worry about filling a stadium anymore, right? I don't have to be in an arena. I mean, I could build this tennis court, and this is stuff that just as a stunt guy, me and my stunt man friends can all, we can assemble this court anywhere. Just give me 110 feet of flat level surface, and I can put this, in a parking lot. I can put it on a mountaintop. I was making plans to build this court on a barge prior to the pandemic, and that was going to be our launch, was to build this court on a barge and sail it back and forth down the Hudson and East River.
That is a good. Now,
Rick, me and you, we're going.
Yeah, we'll go first.
Action tennis on the mountaintop. Winner gets to light Pete on fire. Loser has to get tossed around by like a ragdoll by Dave Bautista.
Yeah, that sounds.
Win.
Yeah, let me ask you this: have you reached out to like the USTA at all to see if maybe you can coordinate? Obviously, maybe using their courts, because obviously the U.S. Open only goes on for a couple of weeks a year. Have you had conversations with them about maybe being able to use some of their facilities or anything like that?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Initially, and by initially I mean up until 6 months ago, I kind of held the belief that the USTA wouldn't necessarily welcome a version of tennis that did this to their sport.
Yeah.
I've been kind of pleasantly surprised, though, as I've reached out to more and more tennis players, tennis professionals, even some commentary people. how welcoming they've kind of been to an idea like this. So, the players themselves, I've got a few pro level players that I've run a training day with and things like that, and they've loved it. That was also helpful just from a proof of concept, example of how it really works. So, I was able to do that back in June. And like I said, just reaching out to more and more of which is where I want my players to come from, right. Whether it's the collegiate level or pros that, are sort of, and that's part of this is just to give opportunity to players who, aren't your top 200 in the world, right? I've had the people that did the training day with me were, they had world rankings, and they still do, I believe. But one of the two of the girls that have done, have kind of sampled this. One, I think the taller one's 5'3", or 5'4", 5'3". That's a short tennis player. And these girls, the way they're able to move around on the court is amazing. And then to put obstacles in front of them that are, flying across their face and watch them adjust and move, around them, over them. It was just, it's amazing because there they are. These are fantastic athletes, and because they might lack the power of they might not have 140-mile-an-hour serve, and they might not hit with as much power as Serena or Naomi or any of the names that we know from the U.S. Open.
Right.
But this gives an opportunity to a player who's I think a 5'3" female tennis player is a fantastic fit for action tennis. And I would say on the men's side, 5'8", 5'9", 5'10", maybe, is not, like I said, these guys that are 6'4", 6'5", and serve 140 miles an hour. I just, like I said, kind of built out this idea that we can do something with these athletes. And what I'd like to see, is sort of that get to a point where we're dealing with true hybrid athletes. Like today's, that's really the basis of everything I'm trying to do is give opportunity to athletes, exposure to athletes who sort of are outside the realm of just your pros. And I mean that in the sense that, like I've watched these the fight team guys from 8711 that I worked with on John Wick and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They, three of them, and there are plenty of other people that are capable of doing this, but this is the first time I'd seen guys do this with just their bodies. This guy Danny Graham, a guy Anise and Jeremy. These guys were Red Bull martial arts tricking champions. And if you've never seen this, everybody out there needs to go check this out and see what these guys are capable of, because it'll blow your mind. To watch them do flips in the air and spin and find a kicking pad, nail it and land and reset to go again. I mean, it's incredible. So imagine a player with a tennis racket, an athlete that's capable of doing that, put them on a tennis court, make a move, by introducing these different elements. That's exciting, if you ask me. Anyway, I'm trying to convince everybody else, so we'll kind of see how we go.
I can so totally see this. Like obviously American Ninja Warrior has taken on a life of its own. Like it's huge now. And now you even have things like the Titan games from Iraq, and I don't see how this can't be that next show, and watch people do these acrobatics, crazy stunts
with the tennis racket, playing the tennis match, while playing tennis. Like I really don't see how
how it can't go on the same networks and be televised and get viewers just like American Ninja Warrior or Titan Games does.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
You need The Rock to host it. It's good. It's golden.
So how does somebody find you? Like if I'm a tennis player and I want to come on the series and the show, how do I go to the website? I mean, do I reach? How do they get in contact with you? How do they connect with you?
I think the best way is through that website. There's an email address that's located on the site, but www.action.tennis. It's that simple. You guys have it there on the scroll, and that's awesome. Yep. That's the best way. I'm available on LinkedIn. If you look up Pete Klein, I don't do a whole lot of other social media stuff. That one just seems to make sense to me. The others are a little, it's just I can only look at them for so long. Maybe that's my age showing.
There you go.
The rest of your, I think your Twitter. This is your Instagram handle too, action.tennis.
Yeah.
And then your Twitter, LinkedIn, and your IMDb even is in the description above or below, depending on where you're watching it. You want to reach out to Pete, definitely through LinkedIn is the best way. And please visit action.tennis. Go watch the promo trailer, and
it's incredible.
It's awesome. You're gonna be like, this is. I want to watch
it's
this.
Sick. It's good. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. We're trying to do something special and something different. So.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I really hope that it picks up, and tell Dave he owes you one for throwing you around like a rag doll. Tell him to call The Rock and be like, hey, listen.
That would be
host this Action Tennis series on NBC, please. But regardless, so thank you very much for coming
Pete,
on.
thank you very much, man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, this has been fun, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Rick.
Anytime, man. You're more than welcome to come back anytime.
Yes.
I'd love to. You guys have been a lot of fun.
Well, we have.
I'm just glad
me and Rick have to play action tennis.
What's that, Mike?
Me and Rick have to play action tennis.
Once we get that thing going, we'll have a special night.
You're not far.
Like a grudge match night or something like that. You can really square off.
Yeah, I'll wear a helmet. I'll wear some shoulder pads, some rackets.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'll be skins. You'll be shirts.
There you go.
All right. Take it easy.
Pete, thank you, man. Have a good night.
Have a good one.
Yeah. That sounds awesome, man.
Yeah.
Although knowing me, like I would.
I'm taking you down, man.
That's fine. Let's do it. Yeah, we'll do shirts and skins. We'll put it online. But knowing me, I'll probably like in the first set, I'll twist an ankle or I'll run into that wall behind the baseline.
Who are you kidding? I'm gonna. But it sounds like so much fun. That
it does, right? It sounds awesome.
I might not be good at it, but I have to try it. I'm not doing triple flips to hit it.
No, that I'm not. I'm not doing
air, but
I'll try a triple flip. See how? I mean, I'll probably land on my head or something. But
I'll run off walls, no problem.
Yeah,
I'll slide under, swinging pendulums.
Oh, I wonder if they have. I wonder if he could put maybe a moat in the middle of the court or something like that. Like you have to hurdle water or something like that. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, let me not get started on some ideas here.
gotta hop through a ring of fire to. Yeah. No, I mean, obviously, sky's the limit.
You can do so much with that though, because tennis courts are big.
I mean, think about it. American Ninja Warrior started with a couple of obstacles, and then they went and added a whole bunch of different things as the seasons go on.
Right.
So what's to say that action tennis can't do it? If these athletes can handle it, then why not? It's good.
Absolutely,
ratings, it's good. It's good to have people. Obviously, you have to switch things up. With things like that. So
and you have with those shows you have drama. Like, man, can this person survive like this? And I wonder. It's funny. I forgot to ask him if it's obviously there's singles, but there's doubles teams as well and all that stuff. I mean that mixed tennis and mixed doubles and all that stuff. So I'm sure he's gonna have that. But that sounds awesome, guys. Check it out, Action Tennis, man. If you guys there's the tennis players out there who want to check that out, go to the site and check it out.
Yeah, action.tennis. Well, thanks again for Pete coming on, and wish him the best of luck, and hope to see that coming on the air soon.
And Pete will come back on the show once things are running, and we'll get him back on and talk a little more about it.
So we can set up our match.
Our match, yeah. That's gonna be great. I'm telling you. The next show we're gonna do, I'm gonna be in a sling. You're gonna have like a. Oh, it's gonna be great.
Seriously though, it would be fun.
Yeah, let's do it, man. I'm down. You know me. I do anything.
Yeah, it's worth a shot. All right, so what are we? We're gonna preview Thursday, or should we go quick?
Well, let's preview Thursday. Let's preview Thursday's game.
Anybody have fantasy football questions? Please leave them in there now. We will preview Thursday first, and we'll get back to fantasy advice if you need any. So Thursday night, the Bengals visit the Cleveland Browns. The Bengals are getting 5.5 points. So that means the Browns are favored by 5.5 points to win by 5.5. Me personally, I think the Bengals can take this game, so I'm taking the extra 5.5 that Vegas is giving me.
I gotta agree. After what I saw of Joe Burrow this Sunday, I think he's gonna come in with a lot of confidence. I think that kid's gonna play. I think he's gonna be real good, man. I was surprised. I mean, he was leading that team down the field like he's been there for a while. So I'm with you with the Bengals and the points. As much, and I want to pick them outright to win that game too, because what I saw from Cleveland, they look lifeless as well. They look just as bad as the Jets, but that game's in Cleveland. Our boy Daryl, we love you. I was rooting for Cleveland. So Cleveland's at home. I'm going to take Cleveland to win the game, but I'll take Cincinnati with the points. I'm with you.
Yeah. I can't go with the money line on the Bengals. I do think that they can win this game, but worst case, it's going to be a field goal game, just like Cincinnati just lost this past one, which Burrow had a amazing drive to get down there for the game tying field goal, and then Ryan Suckup pulls a hamstring. On the kick.
I mean, pulled this. That's incredible. The guy pulls a calf muscle, whatever it was. I was like, this is just. I mean, this is Bengal-esque. Bengal-esque.
It was just crazy to see. Speaking of missed kicks, though,
here we go.
Even Gostkowski last night, 3 missed field goals and a missed extra point. Mr. February. I mean, what it is. I mean, he's been, amazing for the Patriots, and now he moves on. Obviously, he had hip surgery, granted, but he moves on from the Patriots to the Titans. He changes it, has a change of scenery, just like Tom Brady.
Yeah,
3 missed field goals and a missed extra point, and the Titans still pull the game out at the last few seconds of that game. I don't know what the Broncos were thinking, what Vic Fangio was thinking.
I have no idea.
I think the clock just run out.
I mean, I think he just lost it.
Trying to really just push the envelope and think he's going to miss a 4th field goal. I mean, granted, the odds are in your favor there, but let's be real. That's a lot to hope for.
I don't know what happened there, man, but I don't know what happened there, but that was a complete miscalculation on that. And it was for him, that's a chip shot for Gostkowski, and he drilled it right through the uprights. But yeah, I mean, missing, but he made the one that counts, and that's what matters. It's not what you miss, it's the one that counts, and he made the one that count. But I mean, you get I mean, that's another thing, man. You get 3 missed field goals, a missed extra point, you win that game, man. You got to win that game.
Well, the Broncos didn't kick a field goal when they should have.
Right.
And they were at the 1. Yeah, they want to go for it and try and get it. I get that.
Which I like the aggressiveness.
You got to take points. But there was also another one where they're at the 40. And yeah, granted, it's a long one, but it's McManus. It's in the altitude. You got to at least take the shot. I
don't know, man. That's like a 50-something yard field goal right there.
Yeah, but he's hit that before. So I don't know. But I guess we could touch on a couple of the other games from this past week, but the Washington football team is not only one of the best defenses in the league right now, but they're 1-0, upset the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles were winning 17-0, and the Washington football. It still sounds so weird to just say Washington football team. But anyway, that is their name or not name, whatever you want to say. Yeah. And they came back and just went on a run against the Eagles, and it's just I couldn't believe it.
I mean, listen, Chase Young on the defensive side is a real deal, bro. I mean, they almost literally. I thought Carson Wentz wasn't going to finish that game because they just beat the hell out of him. I mean, they just beat that kid up all over the place.
Yeah, Eagles are.
But listen, Ron Rivera is a good coach. I mean, he's got him coached them up well, and Dwayne Haskins, he played well, and he led him back. And but the Eagles got, they just got issues, man. They if they don't protect Wentz, if they don't find a way to fix that offensive line, he's not going to make the season. He's not going to finish the season. He's just going to get he's going to get beat up. He's going to get knocked down. He won't finish the season. That's been his MO, man. He gets hurt a lot. But listen, Washington is underrated. I mean, Arizona also out there in the West Coast. They beat the Niners. They're better than they were last. They're better than they were last year with Kyler Murray running around over there.
DeAndre Hopkins. He had like 14 for 151.
Yeah, he was all over the place. So
DeAndre Hopkins was business as usual.
Mm-hmm.
The guy's getting a ton of targets. He's catching them all, and he's going over 100 yards. Against the 49ers defense. Which quick shout out and quick wish of luck to a friend of the show, Christian Angulo, who is trying out for them. We're pulling for you, and
Chris, you're gonna make that team, bro. We're pulling for you.
Hope you get a chance to join that wonderful defense over there and have a chance to make a run for a title and possibly play in MetLife Stadium this coming week.
Oh, that's right, because they play the Jets this week. That's great. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But hopefully Chris goes out there and impresses well, and they sign him and they add him to the team. That'd be great for him.
Yeah, absolutely. We're pulling for you, Chris. Good luck. Any other notable ones to talk about? I mean, you got the Packers.
We got it.
It was like an 8-5 game, and then all of a sudden,
Aaron Rodgers just goes off.
34 ends up being the final. It was like the second quarter. It was 8-5, and then they just went off.
Exactly. Listen, the Detroit Mitchell Trubisky.
Yeah.
Leading the Detroit Lions back. The Chicago Bears back. I mean, you can't make. I don't know how Detroit lost that game. I think they were like, we're done playing. We're up. Yeah, we're done playing. And all of a sudden, it was just like a game. And it's Mitchell Trubisky. He's throwing the ball over the field. He's making plays. And I'm like, it's Mitchell Trubisky. I mean, it was incredible. And Matt Patricia over there, I don't think he's going to last the season. I think he's gone at either the middle of the season or at the end of the season. I think he's toast.
Yeah.
You can't lose games like that, man. Especially to Chicago at home. You can't lose that game.
They were looking so good the entire game. I think.
They're looking great.
20-6 or something like that.
Yeah.
At one point, and I was like, "Oh, okay, they got this one." Yeah. I mean, what can you say? Mitchell Trubisky
he threw 3 TDs.
Well, he's got that motivation behind him, and Nick Foles, breathing down.
Yeah.
His head. So I mean, maybe it's good for something, but I don't know. I mean, how long could he keep that up?
Not long, because I don't see that happening again this week.
The Lions. It's not like, it was a comeback against the Lions. The Lions are the better team, granted, but it's not like he beat, an amazing team. But
I'll say this: if you're DeAndre Swift, if you're not catching 2,000 passes in practice this week, then you're
that was.
You can't drop that ball, man. You can't.
That wasn't very swift.
No, it wasn't. I mean, this is the National Football League. You make that catch. I mean, Stafford must have been through the roof, man. But
and AP, man, he was.
Yeah.
He ageless, this guy. I mean, crazy. But in Bears news, Allen Robinson removes all Bears mentions off his Twitter today and is asking for a trade because they don't want to talk to him about his contract extension.
Hey, we could use a receiver. Jets over here. Hi.
Yeah.
Joe Douglas.
But who's going to throw the ball?
Yeah. Look, we just need look, Joe Douglas. It's called an iPhone. You pick it up, you dial the number, you say, "Hey, Chicago, what do you want?" and bring them over because we need help. We have nobody to throw the ball to.
Yeah, I mean,
saying
a couple of different ideas out there on where he's going to go. Patriots being one of the ones that are saying people want him to go to the Ravens. You know, honestly, I got him on my fantasy team, so as long as he gets a better quarterback, I'm good.
We'll see, man. We shall see.
I'm good with that. But let's talk about
news and notes
with his four missed kicks, but his ex-teammate Tom Brady down in the Bay now played the Saints this past weekend. It didn't really go as most of America would have hoped. You know, I kind of thought it was going to be a closer game than what it was. Granted, they did put up 23 points against one of the best defenses in the league in New Orleans, granted without fans. What'd you think about Tom Brady's performance? I mean,
look, it's week one. You know, I'm not gonna go crazy. I mean, I'm not gonna go as bad as the Jets and lose my mind over that. But it was week one. He's playing with a new offense. He threw 2 picks. Janoris Jenkins got him from 1 and took it to the house. So I think he's still finding his way with that team. So I'm not gonna go crazy. But they're gonna be good, man. Their defense is stout. Yeah. Their defense is real stout, and they're gonna be all right. He just got to find his way. I think all of America was happy that he lost. I think 2 things. All of America, when they saw that game, they were like, "Wow, he's in a Bucs uniform. He looks so like not Tom Brady. Like it just looked off watching him in the Bucs uniform, seeing that pirate on his helmet instead of the Patriots, so it looked different." And then secondly, I think they were like, "Yeah, man, if he's losing, it's great." Look, obviously, 9 Super Bowl appearances, 6 wins. I mean, America, when he loses, everybody's happy. So
you know what I love?
What's that?
I loved intentional grounding calls.
Oh, yeah.
I loved penalties. I loved all the the pass interferences that weren't called that he always gets. No homer refs. There was no paid off refs in this game because they're obviously in Robert Kraft's pocket, not in Tom Brady's, and Bruce Arians does not have any refs in his pocket, which is the way it should be. What a difference! What a cultural difference! Having him not only in different colors, but not having the refs like pretty much kissing at his feet every single second of the game. And it was good to have Tom Brady actually play like a quarterback and not like an entitled part of the Patriots roster.
Yeah, and Gronkowski. Where was he on Sunday?
He took a year off.
He's like, you know what? He's like Le'Veon. He looks like a shot fighter, dude.
I didn't really think too much of the Gronkowski. I mean, he's gonna catch his end zone touchdowns, but he's not gonna be the Gronkowski that we're used to.
No, I think
catching it like in the middle of the field and just taking it for 30, 40 yards. It's not happening. And you know what? They got plenty of weapons. They got
OJ Howard and Mike Evans and
Chris Godwin,
yeah,
Scotty Miller,
Miller, yeah, man, that kid's gonna be good.
Sure, it's game 1, but he has to actually play the game of football.
Yeah. So look, it's the first week. I'm not gonna go too crazy about it, but it was just odd to see him in that Tampa uniform. But
I even said that during the game. I'm like, he looks.
It looks so weird. I was like, this is not right. But I was like, you know what? As long as he's not in the AFC East, I don't care.
Yeah,
that's what I care about.
Yeah, I said
because we got
in these colors.
Yeah, because we got bigger problems to worry about. My beloved Jets. But anyway, on to news and notes.
Yes, news and notes. Obviously, you want to start with the big news?
Yes, it is official. It has happened for all of you diehard Met fans out there. Steve Cohen has officially purchased the New York Mets. The New York Metropolitans belong to Steve Cohen. He paid $2.45 billion for the team. So congratulations to Steve Cohen, to all the Met fans out there. and all the money that's going to be coming into the Met organization for free agents and, building up this team and what have you. Look, we've talked about it. Great. It was the right thing to do. Now that this is out of the way, the Mets can focus on baseball. Steve can focus on like owning the team and setting his vision forward and what he wants the team to accomplish, which is obviously win a World Series, and do it in his way. So kudos to the Met fans. Kudos to you, Mike. Kudos to Steve Cohen. And good for you.
Let's go.
There it is.
I cannot wait for this offseason and see what happens. Well, what is going to be, shaken up this offseason? Who can we sign? I don't even know who the free agents are, but I'm sure we're going to get one or two of them. Yeah. So, 2020 is a, shot. It's a long shot for them to get in there, but 2021 and beyond, pretty much sky's the limit. Hopefully they can make the right moves, and hopefully a championship is in our future soon.
Yeah. To the NBA, where you have a Game 7 going on right now with the Nuggets and the Clippers. Clippers up 5. I gotta say, then this is pretty stunning that the Clippers are playing a Game 7 against the Nuggets. Did not see. I don't think anybody expected this to happen. I thought everybody pretty much thought the Clippers were going to just run roughshod and get to the conference finals and play the Lakers. But this is interesting. It's 6:53 in the second quarter. The Clips are up 5, and Denver's just a tough team, man. These guys with Murray and Jokic. It's going to be interesting how this plays out, man. We'll see.
Yeah, this is what this is pretty much what the NBA playoffs is about, though, right?
No, it is. But with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George,
yeah.
Doc Rivers is your coach.
I love it. I love it. It's an open field. Anyone can win. And that's what makes these games more exciting. Game 7s are just exciting in general. So.
Oh yeah, they're incredible. So but I want to see if the Clippers will be able to pull this out. It's going to be interesting. If the Clippers get knocked out after all the money they spent and all the moves they made, you got to start rethinking some things there. You got Kawhi for a couple more years, but you got to take a hard look at what happened here. And you can't just blame it on COVID because everybody's playing in that bubble. So I don't want to hear that. So you got to, let's see what happens. Let's see how this Game 7 plays out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, moving on to the NHL, the Islanders are trying to avoid elimination tonight. Yeah, they're tied 1-1. Tampa Bay Lightning is up 3-1. The Dallas Stars already advanced to the finals. So let's hope the Islanders can pull out 3 wins in a row here, so they can advance to the Stanley Cup Finals. For our boy Scotty's sake.
Yeah, and also for New York. This would be, we haven't had any since 2013. I think when the Rangers went to the Stanley Cup Finals. And the Islanders haven't had any success going to the Stanley Cup Finals in years. So it'd be nice to see them, kind of make a comeback here and make a move. So we'll keep an eye on this. It's 1-1 in the third. Hopefully they can get a breakthrough here tonight against the Lightning. Hey, say hi to is that a nice little baby? Yeah, there you go. That's one of our fans over
baby
there.
Woke up, so I gotta call it tonight.
All right, well there it is. So the baby calls it tonight. Well, thanks to our guest Pete Klein. Thanks to our viewers tonight. This was episode 17 of the Fan Experience Podcast, brought to you by Play the Field. So go to
playthefielddating.com.
playthefielddating.com and find your MVP. Mike, this was a good one for myself and Mike Kados, everybody. We'll see you on Thursday night, and have a good one.
See you during Thursday Night Football, Bengals Browns, and we'll preview the rest of the games.